Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bosch. The number of clean diesel models in North America will double by 2014. Bosch Clean Diesel. Good, clean, fun. Bridgestone. Your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems. Improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com. And by the 2013 Hyundai Sonata. Learn more at HyundaiSonata.com.
Hello everybody, John McElroy here with the latest news. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety lambasted the Toyota Camry and Prius V for having some of the worst crash test results. Of course, this is all about the Institute's new small overlap test, where it smashes the front corner of a car into a 5-foot rigid barrier at 40 miles an hour. That's the equivalent of clipping another car at 80 miles an hour, which is, of course, nearly 130 kilometers an hour. Honda's new Accord passed the test with flying colors. Honda executives tell Autoline Daily that they worked closely with the IIHS and knew this small overlap test was coming. Since it takes at least 3 years to develop a new car, that suggests Honda knew this at least 3 years ago. The Institute claims it gives automakers fair warning about any changes in its test, but Toyota executives and engineers tell Autoline they really didn't know it was coming. And very few of today's cars are capable of achieving good results in this test. Geely, the Chinese automaker that owns Volvo, wants to buy Manganese Bronze Holdings, the company that makes London's iconic black cabs. Geely is offering to buy 80% of Manganese. It already owns the rest. In 2006, the two companies entered a joint venture to build taxi cabs. Parts are manufactured in China, then the taxis are assembled in England. Geely also sells the cabs in China and other parts of Asia. Continental, the German auto supplier, became the first automotive supplier to get state approval to start testing autonomous cars on public roads in Nevada. But interestingly, Conti has already been testing this system on public roads, so I guess this just makes it official. Conti says its semi-autonomous system, which is more like cruise control that also does the steering at speeds up to 30 miles an hour, could be ready by the end of the decade, but I think it's going to be ready in about 3 years. Last Monday, we gave you the results of our weekly poll in which we asked you to vote on the finalists for the North American Car and Truck of the Year award and choose who you think should be the winners. Well, on Monday, we announced that the Ram pickup and Ford Fusion came out on top. But even though we closed the polls, some of you kept on voting. And right now, the Cadillac ATS is ahead of the Fusion. And I mention this because I think this is how the official vote is going to turn out. And we will have the official results in about 3 weeks. General Motors is moving production of the next generation Camaro from Oshawa, Ontario to its Lansing Grand River plant in Michigan. It will join the Cadillac ATS and CTS production lines, which, like the Camaro, are rear-wheel drive cars. However, the Canadian Auto Workers Union called the move a betrayal after Canada gave GM $10 billion to keep it alive during its bankruptcy, and it's demanding that GM replace one for one the jobs that plant is going to lose. A company called Ener-G-Power Systems in Troy, Michigan, says the lead-acid battery is going to make a comeback. It's developed a new type of lead-acid battery that is a fraction of the cost of a lithium-ion battery, but is still capable of producing the power needed for most hybrid applications. The new battery changes the size and shape of the lead plates, as well as the thickness of the electrodes and how it's assembled. The company says its new design will be about half the cost of a lithium-ion pack and only add about 4 to 5 pounds in a mild hybrid application. Remember that wild and crazy concept car that Mercedes had at the LA Auto Show? Let's take a closer look at it right after this.
Why?
Because plants need water to grow.
Because baseball's played in the summer. Oxygen and hydrogen. Because I forgot to get a receipt.
Why?
Why not?
Why?
Why don't you go ask your dad?
Do Sonata drivers know something you don't? The Sonata from Hyundai.
At last month's LA Auto Show, Mercedes took the wraps off a wild-looking concept called the G-Force. I asked Dan Burrill, who's in public relations for Mercedes, what this crazy-looking machine is all about.
So this vehicle is based on our G-Class, which we've had since 1978. It's a design icon in the Mercedes-Benz brand. And our designer said, what would this vehicle look like in 2025? And you see it behind us. It has a fuel cell drive. It has an electric motor at all four wheels, wheel hub motors. It has a range of 500 miles.
To my eye, it looks like if you pulled the three-pointed star off the grille, there aren't any other design cues that would tell you this is a Mercedes. But Burrill says that's not the case.
There still is some G-Class DNA in there in Mercedes. The headlights on top of the fenders you can see there, the square grille, that's very G-Class. So you take the star off, there's still some Mercedes somewhere in there. You can see it.
So will any of these styling elements be used in any future Mercedes?
You know, this is really a far out view, but I'll tell you what, I'll come on Autoline in 2025 and we'll figure out if I was right.
Crazy or not, that G-Force sure got a lot of attention. Say, be sure to tune into Autoline After Hours tonight as we hand out presents or lumps of coal to those who have been naughty or nice in the automotive industry this year. Join me and the auto extremist Peter DeLorenzo for the best insider look into this business. That's tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time or 2300 GMT. Also, be forewarned, the Autoline crew will be taking a much appreciated holiday next week. We'll be back tomorrow, but then we'll be off until January 2nd. And so, my friends, until tomorrow.